Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 11 and Text 36. This sloka I will read it by myself. Tasyaiva chante kalpo bhu yam padmam abhichakshate yadhare nabhisarasa asilloka saroruham. Translation: The millennium which followed the first Brahma millennium is known as the Padma Kalpa, because in that millennium the universal lotus flower grew out of the navel reservoir of water of the personality of Godhead Hari. Purport: The millennium following the Brahma Kalpa is known as the Padma Kalpa because the universal lotus grows in that millennium. The Padma Kalpa is also called the Pitru Kalpa in certain Puranas. 37. This also I will read it by myself. Ayam tu katitaha kalpo dvitiyasyapi bharata varaha iti vikyato yatra shishukaro hari. O descendant of Bharata, the first millennium in the second half of the life of Brahma is also known as the Varaha millennium because the personality of Godhead appeared in that millennium as the hog incarnation. Purport: In different millenniums known as the Brahma, Padma and Varaha Kalpas appear a little puzzling for the layman. There are some scholars who think these kalpas to be one and the same. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the Brahma Kalpa in the beginning of the first half appears to be the Padma Kalpa. We can, however, simply abide by the text and understand that the present millennium is in the second half of the duration of life of Brahma. 38. Kalaha ayam vipraradha akyaha kaloyam viparadhakyo nimeṣa upacharyate nimeṣa upacharyate. Avyakrutasya anantasya avyakrutasya hi anadihi jagadatmanaha hi anadhe jagadatmanaha kaloyam viparadhakyo nimeṣa upacharyate avyakrutasya hi anadhe jagadatmanaha. Kalaha, eternal time. Ayam, this, as measured by Brahma's duration of life. Viparadha akyaha, measured by the two halves of Brahma's life. Nimeṣaha, less than a second. Upacharyate is so measured. Avyakrutasya, of one who is unchanged, Anantasya, of the unlimited. He certainly Anadhehe, of the beginningless, Jagadatmanaha, of the soul of the universe. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: the duration of the two parts of Brahma's life, as above mentioned, is calculated to be equal to one nimeṣa, less than a second, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchanging and unlimited and is the cause of all causes of the universe. Please repeat: the duration of the two parts of Brahma's life, as above mentioned, is calculated to be equal to one nimeṣa, less than a second, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchanging and unlimited and is the cause of all causes of the universe. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The great sage Maitreya has given a considerable description of the time of different dimensions, beginning from the atom up to the duration of the life of Brahma. Now he attempts to give some idea of the time of the unlimited personality of Godhead. He just gives a hint of his unlimited time by the standard of the life of Brahma. The entire duration of life of Brahma is calculated to be less than a second of the Lord's time, and it is explained in the Brahma Samhita as follows: Yasyaika nishvashatakalam athavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanadha Vishno mahansa iha sakala vishesho Govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, whose plenary portion is Mahavishnu. All the heads of the innumerable universes, the Brahmas, live only by taking shelter of the time occupied by one of his breaths. The impersonalists do not believe in the form of the Lord, and thus they would hardly believe in the Lord's sleeping. Their idea is obtained by a poor fund of knowledge. They calculate everything in terms of man's capacity. They think that the existence of the Supreme is just the opposite of active human existence. Because the human being has senses, the Supreme must be without sense perception. Because the human being has a form, the Supreme must be formless. And because the human being sleeps, the Supreme must not sleep. Srimad Bhagavatam, however, does not agree with such impersonalists. It is clearly stated herein that the Supreme Lord rests in Yoga Maya, Yoga Nidra, as previously discussed. And because he sleeps, naturally he must breathe, and the Brahma Samhita confirms that within his breathing period, innumerable Brahmas take birth and die. There is complete agreement between Srimad Bhagavatam and the Brahma Samhita. Eternal time is never lost along with the life of Brahma. It continues, but it has no ability to control the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the Lord is the controller of time. In the spiritual world, there is undoubtedly time, but it has no control over activities. Time is unlimited, and the spiritual world is also unlimited, since everything there exists on the absolute plane. The sense of Bhaktivedanta Parpoto Madhyanatimirandhasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Nitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Swamyn Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirmishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in these three shlokas, the wonderful time period available for Lord Brahma was explained, and as we understood, Brahma's 12 hours is considered a kalpa, and the sequence of these kalpas, the names were given here. The first one is Brahma Kalpa, millennium, followed by Yam Padmam Abhichakshase. The second one is Padma Kalpa. And in this Kalpa, the universal lotus, that flower that grows from the navel of Vishnu, and in the navel of Vishnu there is a Loka Saroruham, there is a reservoir of water, and from that reservoir of water the lotus grows. Actually, Prabhupada uses this example to prove that how matter grows from life. Vishnu is life, supreme life, and from his navel came the lotus flower, which is actually the resting place for all the planetary systems. And so that matter came from the life, the supreme life. So that particular kalpa in which the lotus grew is known as Padma Kalpa. And Prabhupada says in some Puranas this is referred to as Pitru Kalpa. And then that Brahma Kalpa is also known as sometimes Varaha, millennium, because Lord Varaha appears. So that's why Prabhupada is saying here, the different millenniums known as Brahma, Padma and Varaha appear a little puzzling for the layman, puzzling on what is these various millenniums. But we know that Brahma's time period, his lifespan is fabulously unimaginable for the living entities like us. For a human being, it is inconceivable that Lord Brahma's 12 hours is one kalpa. That means 1000 Mahayugas. And each Mahayuga has 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dvapara and Kali. Such cycles are rapidly goes on for us, and for Brahma it is, his time period is very big. And that Brahma has an equal number of hours for the night. Then there are 30 days in a month, and then there is an year, 12 months, and then he lives for 100 years. So this is Brahma's fabulous time. Now in this shloka, interestingly, Maitreya tries to calculate what is this Brahma's lifespan with respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu's time. So Vishnu, his time is unlimited. Can't even, we cannot measure, we will not be able to measure what is this. That's why it is eternal. It is an eternal world. The time is there, but it is not, it is unlimited time. The time assists the Lord in his pastimes in the spiritual world. Krishna and his various expansions, they live in Vaikuntha, and then they perform innumerable pastimes in each and every planet. And how many pastimes? Unlimited. Ananta, cannot even, every day there are wonderful pastimes of the Supreme Lord. A little glimpse of those pastimes were given in the Krishna book. How Krishna every day he goes out to the forests of Vrindavan, and then he performs innumerable pastimes. And then sometimes some demons also appear, and then Krishna would kill the demons and creates peace and happiness in the community of devotees. And then when the devotees are returning along with Krishna, they will be glorifying Krishna's pastimes of how he killed the demon and then how he protected the gopis and the gopas. So this is on a daily basis. So there is time is there. In the spiritual world, Prabhupada is saying here, unlimitedly there is, undoubtedly there is time. Here you can see in the spiritual world there is undoubtedly time. Time is there. Every day is there, evening is there, night is there. Pattern is there, same pattern. And so there is a time, but Prabhupada is saying here, it has no control over the activities of Krishna. The time doesn't control Krishna's activities, rather Krishna controls the time. Here, all our activities are controlled by time. The time controls the world. And all activities are limited to 24 hours. And that too, everybody has to sleep, so they are limited further. So everybody has a limited time and time is controlling. Many people don't even realize that the time is controlling them. They just go on in life not knowing that the time is silently taking away their life. Like Bhagavatam gives a hint how to recognize that your life is taken away. It says as soon as you see the sun, you should know one more day is taken away from your lifespan. And we are coming closer to our death. This is the situation here. We don't realize the time is so imperceptible, silent force that it slowly takes away our life and everything that connected to that. But whereas in the spiritual world, although time is present, it has no control on the activities. There is no time period there, in the sense, everybody lives eternally. It's a permanent body, permanent activities. Everything is unlimited. So, there is no hurry to finish a body. Here there is 100 years, you finished. There is a measurement is there, limitedness is there. But there it's all everything is unlimited. So time becomes an ingredient for enjoyment. The Lord uses the time and creates enjoyable pastimes. So this is spiritual world. There is no anxiety that we have very limited time and we have to achieve something. There, everything is only joyful and happy. There is nothing to... only giving pleasure to Krishna is the only achievement. This is the only activity in the spiritual world. Here, the activity is how I can increase pleasure for myself. So there is a limited field of activities was created by God, Krishna, and then in that limited field, he sets the time for that limited field and says, okay, within this time you can do whatever you want. So Krishna, he explains as Mahavishnu, Vishnu Mahansa Heyasya Kala Vishesho. He is a expansion of the supreme plenary portion of the Supreme Personality, and then he in turn creates this field of activities, these universes, this material world, this lotus, and the various planetary systems, the whole setup is done by Mahavishnu. And his further expansions, 2 more Vishnus are there. So they all create this field. And not only creating this field, Mahavishnu does one more. He actually sets the time period for these universes. And what is the time period that he sets? His own breathing cycle. Mahavishnu, when he exhales, innumerable universes come into force, and when he inhales, all those universes enter his body again. This is the position of Mahavishnu. Kala Vishesho is just an amsha. It's called Swamsha of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Arjuna, he asks Krishna that, my Lord, in this universe, please explain about your opulences, the various vibhutis that you have. And Krishna gives a big list of, not a big list, okay, some few verses he explains. What is this position? So he says, in the end he says, Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa na antaha. Krishna is saying there is no end to my divyanam vibhuti, this divine vibhutis, opulences. Parantapa, O hero, there is no limit to my opulences. But eshatu uddeshataha prokto. I just give you an indication. Uddeshataha. A small indication I have given. Vibhuter vistaro maya. Because my opulences are infinite. Now this is the position of the Supreme Lord. God is not like us. His opulences, his existence, his activities, his happiness, everything is unlimited. Krishna's enjoying capacity, unlimited. Our enjoying capacity, very, very limited. Even though we are all wanting to enjoy, but our capacity is very, very limited. So many people want to sleep and enjoy, very limited. Ultimately only 24 hours, and in that also you have to get up, read something. There are certain things created, so you cannot sleep also 24 hours. So, but here God sleeps, Mahavishnu sleeps, and his sleep is known as Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra. Actually, Lord exists in a different energy. He has his Atma Maya, his Yoga Maya, his spiritual energy, and all his unlimited activities are in exchange of pastimes in the spiritual energy. So that is and whereas Krishna's pastimes in this world, in this material world, as Mahavishnu, they are in his one more energy called external energy. Ultimately, his energy is only one, but since they differently function, different names were given. The external energy in this world is tapakari. It creates various miseries. But whereas the spiritual energy in the spiritual world is always increasing the pleasure, happiness of Krishna and his devotees. So, heart of heart, everybody wants this happiness. They don't want any tapakari, any misery. They all want to continuously. So this kind of some duties, control of the time, limited resources is a poverty-stricken situation in this material world. Even for a billionaire, he is a big beggar. That's all. everybody is begging, where is my happiness? Where is my happiness? So the biggest billionaire of our current times, they keep changing. Currently, whoever is there, he takes a tablet for depression because he is not able to, enjoy his life to his expectation. So he takes a small piece of depression tablet every day. So this is the situation of the billionaire of this world. Now you imagine what is the situation of others. So here it is only depression and suppression, and Prabhupada uses one more, compression. Everything is compressed. Resources are not available. So everybody is begging. That is this world. But the spiritual world is not like that. It is unlimited, ever expanding, and then very big. So that's why Krishna is known as Brahman. He is the Parabrahman. Original Brahman means very big, unlimited. And then he is ever expanding. Lord's activities, pastimes, everything is expanding. The way we are also trying to expand our activities here, but in this tapakari energy, but Krishna, he expands his pastimes in ever expanding spiritual energy. Spiritual energy is also a personality. She is a person, and Krishna is also a person. There is no impersonal thing in the spiritual world. Prabhupada is commenting that how these impersonalists, Mayavadis, they get confused. They have a calculation. What is that calculation? Here, a form, anybody is having a form, means is limited. Let us say a person is some 6 feet or 6.5 feet. Only that much, that's all. He is limited to that 6.5, 7 feet. Some people are small, 5 feet. Some people are very tall, they are 6.5, 7. 7 is very difficult to see, 6.5 probably. And then, so he is limited to that. So their calculation is, form is limiting and Supreme is unlimited. Supreme means unlimited. So unlimited means he cannot have any form. See, form means you are limiting. But we are saying God is unlimited. So there should not be any form. This is their calculation. And for these people's brain to accommodate that the form can be very big, in the Shastra we have seen Krishna shows universal form, big form. Entire universe has a form. He shows that form. So some of these impersonalists, they become attracted. Said, yes, this looks like God, because they are now able to see that there can be a big, huge form. That's what they try to understand. So that's why whenever these Mayavadis, they speak from Bhagavad Gita, they give more stress to this universal form. They go on showing that universal form of Krishna with hundreds and thousands of heads, hands, legs, eyes. This is what they're attracted to. But when you say that Supreme Personality is having a form like Krishna, a two-handed, looking like a human being, they cannot believe. They don't accept that how he is looking like an ordinary personality, how he can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But why is it that we are all able to nicely understand that yes, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He has a beautiful Shyama Sundara form, and then at the same time, how he can be unlimited? Because yes, he is having a form apparently looking like a human form, but he has unlimited energies. Unlimited energies. And he himself is unlimitedly powerful. He can expand himself unlimitedly. He can enjoy with unlimited devotees. And then he can create unlimited universes. This is his capacity. By his energies, by his own expansions, it's the Leela of the Supreme Personality of Godhead all over. It is a single personality's pastimes all over. Either in the material world and the spiritual world, it's all vibhuti, opulence and vaibhava of one single personality of Godhead. So that is very difficult for the Mayavadis to believe, and they think that the Supreme must be an impersonal in nature. So in the spiritual life, the key principle is that one should hear from a bona fide source. This is the key principle. We can reach back to Krishna only by hearing from bona fide sources. We will not be able to reach Krishna by our calculating capacity. The Mayavadis, they don't want to surrender to God, and so they are eager to calculate about the Supreme on their own. They don't want to depend on any other source. So here also Prabhupada is saying, their problem is they calculate everything in terms of man's capacity. They see our capacity, how we are limited, struggling, depressed and this and that, and then they think that Supreme must be opposite to all this. This is their calculation. So that's why when Bhagavatam is explaining that the Supreme Lord is having sleep, they will say, no, this is not possible. But actually, yes, Lord can sleep. And while sleeping, he can breathe. And in his breathing, there are so many universes can come out and go in. And it is said that the Vedas also came from his breathing. That means so easily, all these innumerable universes, unlimited means they are not easy to calculate. Not really unlimited like that. Material world is not unlimited, but there's such a big number, huge it is, looks like unlimited. And such unlimited universes are created so easily just by his breathing. He doesn't even have to exert his energy like that. That creation means we think somebody is sitting and making a mold, and then he has to do some plastering, and then so many other processes. A big karkhana is there, and then everything happens there. No. The Lord is not limited by the way we think creation has to happen. So this is the problem with trying to understand God by our own efforts or endeavors. So Krishna is not personally, in that sense, is involved. He is Mahansa Vishnu, Mahavishnu, in the form of Mahavishnu, and that too very easily, just by his breathing, he creates these unlimited universes. That is the capacity. So that's why creation of this material universe, maintaining it, destroying it, they do not constitute the glory of the Supreme Lord. These are all very minute. This creation of this world as a creator, that's not a glory, the real glory of Krishna. The real glory of Krishna is his pastimes in the spiritual world with his devotees. We get fascinated by creation, big universes, planetary systems and this and that. But actually this doesn't constitute his real glory. Creating a prison house doesn't constitute the glory of a government. Let us say some government says that I created a fantastic prison house. Please vote for me. Will you vote? It doesn't constitute any glory of the government. So the way government takes care of those citizens, that constitutes the glory. So similarly, Krishna's pastimes with his loving devotees, that constitutes the glory of the Lord. And his spiritual energy, along with his spiritual energy, he performs innumerable pastimes. That spiritual energy is Srimati Radharani. So tomorrow is her divine appearance. The goal of devotee should be under her shelter. We should be under the shelter of the spiritual energy. Daivim prakritim ashrita. We want to be under the care of our mother, Radharani, not under the care of one housemaid, Durga Devi, or the external energy. We want to be under the care of our mother. And how you can get that shelter? Only through a bona fide spiritual master. By surrendering to a bona fide spiritual master, we'll come under the shelter of the spiritual energy. That spiritual energy, by taking shelter of that spiritual energy, gradually we'll appreciate what is the unlimitedness of the spiritual life, and how we can appreciate Krishna's pastimes, and we'll be able to appreciate the spiritual energy. For example, in our day-to-day life also, we can experience Krishna's reciprocation with us. Particularly when we are chanting, it is said that the Lord is appearing on our tongue in the form of a sound, and he appears along with his spiritual energy. So directly, each and every devotee is coming in contact with Radha and Krishna as you chant your japa, as you chant the holy name. So this constitutes Krishna's real glory. Just to take care of us, even sadhakas like us, ordinary devotees like us, directly Radha and Krishna are descending, and they are coming and giving us the association. They are trying to pull us out from this bodily concept of life, and so that constitutes their real glory. Although Krishna is so wonderful, so unlimited, still he is eager to come and deliver us. This is the real beauty of God, that even though we are extremely tiny, still out of love, he comes along with Mother Radharani, and then every day we are associating with them. Every mantra, when you chant, you are associating with Radha and Krishna. Every mantra. Sometimes they compare that chanting is like Krishna's dancing on this tongue. But so it's like we are like Kaliya, our tongues are the biggest problem, and Lord is dancing. But actually we are fortunate than Kaliya, because now Lord is dancing along with Radharani on our tongues, in our lives, and in order to deliver them. So if we can develop this perception, and then with great care you receive them, so then the life changes. Chanting will no more be a burden, no more be a secret. So it will be a source of happiness. But that requires time. There is no shortcut formula. You have to surrender to Guru's instruction. So then everything is possible. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్. శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ